Welcome back to Climbing Psychology Case Studies, the series in which I comment on your thoughts, curiosities, or struggles about sports psychology. A while ago, I received this comment from Climbing Journeys. Hi there, I think I might have an interesting case study, or at least I'm very interested in it. I've been climbing for a very long time and I improved my technique a lot, got stronger, but the grade I was climbing didn't really change. In January this year, I got diagnosed with ADHD. I started medication in March. In day 1, from the first time I took my meds, my bouldering grades went from projecting V3s to flashing V4s, some V5s, and projecting V6. Clearly, I didn't get stronger or better in a day. It must be purely mental. It's honestly amazing and I can't get over how much of a difference it has made. If you're interested, please let me know. I'd love to learn more about this. Before getting into this video, I must remind you that I'm a psychologist and not a psychiatrist, so I will not go deep into the details of different drug medications for ADHD. Also remember that only a qualified health professional can suggest you what is the best treatment for you, depending on your psychological and medical conditions. First of all, a brief comment on your comment, Climbing Journeys. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with me. I find it very interesting, and I would take this opportunity to talk about these medications and the diagnosis of ADHD in sport, not in any other context. That being said, let's start talking a bit about ADHD. The attention deficit hyperactivity disorder can be found in the DSM-5 under the neurodevelopmental disorders. It is characterized by an attention deficit and/or hyperactivity. Is usually diagnosed between age 3 and 7, but it's not uncommon to receive a diagnosis even later in childhood. Usually ADHD symptoms improve with age, but it happens that some adults still struggle with the symptoms even in adulthood. That is why it's possible to receive a diagnosis even when you're an adult if the disorder wasn't recognized before. Lately, we're talking about ADHD as a neurodivergence in the topic of neurodiversity, meaning that it's normal and acceptable to have brains that works and function in different ways. It happens that ADHD might have such little impact and such little symptoms that one doesn't even recognize that they're having this neurodivergence. In these cases, it's important not to receive a diagnosis because there is nothing that needs to be changed. As long as the symptoms don't create significant distress or maladaptive functioning in important aspects of your life, there is no meaning or reason to intervene. It just becomes a natural diversity as those that we see with other characteristics. Children with ADHD may be deficient in the activity of the frontal lobe, especially in the frontoparietal and frontostriatal networks. This results with children not being able to focus attention and with impulsivity. Please note that this is only an average result. There is no psychological nor psychiatric disorder that can be diagnosed by watching at your brain only. This is also why this is not a neurological disorder. What is the relationship between ADHD and sport? Several studies and meta-analysis showed that sport actually have a moderate to large effect in decreasing ADHD symptoms, and this happens irrespectively of being under medication or not. Methylphenidate, which is also known as Ritalin, is the most employed pharmacological treatment for ADHD. It falls under the categories of substance of stimulants, which work by increasing the activity in the brain, especially of those areas and circuits that control behavior and attention. This is why these categories have the effect of increasing arousal, increasing the sense of energy, decreasing the sense of fatigue, the sense of hunger, and the necessity to sleep.
And there it is!
This morning, America's golden girl targeted.
She's just got so much power.
Simone Biles, one of the victims of the latest cyber attack. Hackers circulating confidential medical records belonging to some of Team USA's star athletes. The leaked documents reveal 19-year-old Biles tested positive for methylphenidate, a typical stimulant for treating ADHD. The International Gymnastics Federation approved her use of the medication. Biles later tweeted, "I have ADHD. I've taken medicine for it since I was a kid. Please know I believe in clean sport, have always followed the rules."
When people with ADHD take ADHD medicines and drugs, they are thought to reach what is the normal level of attention and control of the behavior, really not to be as impulsive as the normal population. Although there are a couple of things to say. Not only stimulants are drugs that can give addiction, there are also doping substances. Unless you have a proper diagnosis, stimulants are not allowed for competitions. And this is not only because there is a cognitive enhancement such in attention and focus. We tend to forget how much the brain and the body are connected and how much our mental aspects actually influence our performance. A runner that runs on stimulants will run faster and longer, not because their physical capacity is improved, but because they won't feel as much the fatigue, the tiredness, and the hunger. In fact, in the World Anti-Doping Agency, with a list of prohibited drugs, stimulants are the second category that is most used, after anabolic steroids, which is, for example, testosterone. Now, a fun fact. You know, caffeine that is in coffee and in strong teas is actually a stimulant substance. And up to 2004, it was actually illegal and considered doping when during a competition. Now there are some upper limits of caffeine assumption that you can have for competitions, but the value is very high. So you shouldn't worry too much if you're competing, and you shouldn't worry about the pre-workouts that you take and that have caffeine in. Concluding, my dear friend, climbing journeys, the sudden increase in performance that you had after taking this medication is probably due to this unlocking capacity that you had after eliminating the problems with impulsivity and attention that is usually associated with ADHD. Does it mean that everyone has unlocked potentials? Probably. But does it mean that we should take illegal drugs to unlock this potential? Absolutely not. If you think about it, we already know that caffeine has this power without having all the side effects that ADHD drugs poses. Furthermore, if you don't want to feel dependent on an external substance, we also know that psychology helps a lot. I've already talked about how to improve your focus in a previous video, so don't forget to check it out. And I will talk about this a lot more in the future. So I will see you in the next videos, and stay psyched.